Rob, moving on to the Cricket World Cup, the opening weekend, we had to wait until the early hours of Sunday morning to watch the Proteas in action. Some great knocks there, Germany and Miller. Zimbabwe were quite plucky to a certain extent. Obviously, we won that by 62 runs. Anything that concerned you there, and that the Proteas perhaps need to focus on in the coming week?
Yeah, I think so. I thought that it was kind of a sort of a 5.5 or 6 out of 10 performance. They won it convincingly enough in the end, but there were a few jitters along the way. And for starters on the batting front, 83 for 4 is not the ideal platform, and it's a very unusual situation for the Proteas because normally, of course, that top 6, you back them to the hilt to do the vast majority of the scoring. We know that the South African vulnerability is lower down the order, but instead it was really pleasing that on a day when both Hashim Amla and AB de Villiers effectively failed. You can say they failed because, of course, they're such tremendous sort of run grabbers in ODIs, and the fact that they got into the Dwang yet were pulled so spectacularly out of it by Dave Miller and JP Duminy. I thought their partnership was absolutely superb.
Yeah.
It was
it's a record fifth partnership.
Record fifth wicket partnership, and the third biggest stand for any wicket at a World Cup, in any World Cup match. So that gave you an idea of just how good they were. I think their 256 runs came in just under 30 overs.
And
so
Germany's been due some runs for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. He looked as though he was getting back into the groove. Of course, he'd been out injured for several months and was probably just a little bit tentative in the first few weeks of the comeback. So now his confidence will be right up there again.
Yeah.
It'll help him, not just as a batsman, but as the general cricketer, because we know that he's very useful in the field, and of course his off spinners are a vital little extra element of the bowling arsenal. So he'll be feeling good psychologically. And Dave Miller, 2 centuries now in 3 ODIs for him after going so many matches, I think 60 odd matches without a century.
There's been a big question mark over him for a while, and it seems like he's really hitting his straps.
He really has, and he likes the responsibility.
Long may continue.
He's really enjoying getting into the top 5 and showing that he can actually play sort of proper cricket before he embarks on the sort of pyrotechnics.
Yeah. Any of the other results on the weekend that you sort of want to touch on? I see this morning there was a big upset, Ireland beating the West Indies.
I know, some people were sort of almost half jokingly, but also half seriously thinking, well, this West Indies team, how good are they really? We saw some signs in South Africa that they are still a bit of a sort of a hodgepodge crew, and such controversy about no Dwayne Bravo, Pollard, and a West Indies team of this generation, when they're struggling anyway, without key names like that in their ranks, they are going to be susceptible. And a lot of people also saying, why isn't Darren Sammy still the captain? It's Holder, very, very raw, finding his way in the side, never mind in captaincy. So lots of sort of loose ends to tie up there, and the West Indies now already looking vulnerable. I thought it was a good start for the Minnows generally, because not only did Zim put up such a good show, but now we've seen from Ireland, and that'll sort of, I think, act as a rallying cry for the other teams. I'm not saying that sort of your Afghanistan, Scotland sort of sides are going to be any great shakes. I think they'll have their real difficult moments against the big guns, but it'll give all of the sort of slightly more minnow sides reason for hope during the tournament. And I suppose England will be having a few jitters after getting quite a crunching from the Aussies, which will again have a few of the minnows in their pool thinking, I wonder if we can have a little cheeky go at England here, test their mettle a little bit. But look, big guns have made some statements. India beating Pakistan made quite a big statement by winning that reasonably convincingly in the end. Kohli getting another century, so they're going to be clearly right up there. South Africa operating at sort of 2/3 steam, but doing the business.
Well, I was going to say, with all due respect to Zim, the Proteas haven't really had a big test yet, whereas the other big guns have, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, England, Australia. So fans are going to have to wait another week to really see where this Proteas team is at.
Yeah, don't forget we've had quite a lot of sort of soft one-day cricket in the last few weeks and months, really, when you bear in mind that our major home attraction, or the only home attraction really, was West Indies, 5-match ODI series, which of course we won convincingly 4-1. We've now seen just how good or bad this West Indies team is with that result against Ireland. And then, of course, South Africa playing Zim, who they'd played a few times late last year anyway. So, we knew enough about them. But the first real acid test in a few months now comes Sunday at the MCG, on a sort of a good, true Australian, hard, hopefully a bit faster batting deck. And I think we'll see a good game there, at the sort of 90,000 capacity MCG. So, the first real sort of examination of just how good this Proteas team is about to present itself.
Okay, against India. So I'm sure we will chat later in the week about that, Rob.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Nick.